Okay, sir. Good morning. Uh, I forgot to upload Azure Classroom notes, is it? I got uploaded, sir. Yeah, thank you. Right. Okay. 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 So till now we have created a VPC based on whatever HashiCorp configuration language which we know. We have created a VPC. But the practices which we have discussed is we will be using the Terraform block now, where we will be trying to tell what is the required provider version and what is the required version for Terraform. Right, and then we have started using variables so that anyone can reuse my Terraform template and make necessary changes. Okay, so we'll continue on that, and then we have started using Terraform FMT so that we can lint or format our output so that it looks according to the Terraform's standards. Okay, right. So right, so far what we have done is we have just created the VPC in some region. Now what I'll be trying to do is I want to create 4 subnets, if you remember. Okay, so this is something which I would be calling as subnet or DB1 subnet. Okay, this I'll be calling it as DB2 subnet. This I'll be calling it as app1 or business1 subnet. This I'll be calling it as app2, or for every subnet I need to give some range. So I'll be giving what is the 10.100, right? Yesterday that is what we have used. So 10.100.0.0/24. That means that first 3 digits are fixed. 10.100.0.x. That will be the range of the machine's IP addresses. Here it will be 10.100.0 is taken now. I'll write 1.x. That is 1.0/24. Here I'll be trying to take 10.100.2.0/24. That is 2.x. And 10.100.3.0/24. Okay. Now these machines I'll be creating it in something called as availability zone A, and this I'll try to create in something called as availability zone B. So availability zone, to quickly reiterate the concept behind availability zone is whenever AWS creates data centers in any city, for example in Hyderabad they have created a new region now. So what Amazon does is they will try to identify at least 3 locations in a city which are 30 to 60 kilometers far away from each other, so that in the cases of disasters, even if one area is impacted, your applications will be running from other area in the same region. That is the concept of availability zone. Okay, so you can think of it in a easier way as if you have a company who has 2 different locations in Hyderabad. For example, Infosys has one in Gachibowli, the other one in Pocharam, right? Yeah, right. So in the same way, data centers there will be 3, so that even if one location of Amazon goes for a toss, there are other 2 locations where your workloads are running. Okay, right. So this is what we want to achieve now. So here, what is that I want? I want multiple things to be created. Okay, so we will do it in a ugly way, okay way, and then eventually we'll come to the good way. Don't expect good in the beginning. Okay, దరిద్రం చేస్తేనే మంచి ఏంటో తెలుస్తుంది అంతేనా? రైట్. Okay, let us do it in not so good way, which works, and then we'll optimize it. Okay, expectation, this is what we want, right? So manually, how do you do that? Without knowing manually, we cannot do the stuff. I'll try to show you manually how it looks like. Okay, so try to follow this way of working very seriously. There is no change in the way of working, because if you follow this way of working, you can work on anything, any platform in Terraform. Otherwise, you'll be able to work only on one word. Okay, so let me go to some VPC. Okay, and then are you seeing subnets? You go to subnets, and then you try to tell that I want to create a subnet. You select a VPC. This is the first thing. So to create subnet, you need to give ID of your VPC. From the manual steps, we will figure out what are the inputs which you need to basically give. Okay. Now, subnet name. Let me just try to write app 1. And then you would select availability zone A. And then something, I don't know the stuff. I'm just trying to write 10.100.0.0/24. Okay. Okay. Now, if you see, it is a tag with name and app1. Now you repeat this for the 4 times and then click on create subnets. You would be able to create 4 subnets. I'm not going to do it in this way. Okay. Manually, I have given you the steps. I'll be writing a Terraform template directly. So do we know the inputs now? For creating a subnet, I need to give VPC ID. I need to give basically CIDR range, and I need to give availability zone. Availability zone is generally region, and after that you would have A, B, C. We'll be using A and B. That is what we wanted to achieve. Yeah. Right. IP you choose is outside the CIDR. No, I'm not going to create it, right? That's the reason I've chosen anything. Okay. Right. Now let us open our AWS Terraform. Okay. So this is what we have done yesterday. Right, sir? Yeah. Now, what is it I'm trying to create? What is my resource now? What is my resource which I'm trying to create? Subnet. So Terraform AWS provider. Open that provider, and then here type subnet, and then we are creating a subnet in network, right? So are you saying AWS underscore subnet? This is one way of figuring it out. The other one is Terraform AWS. If you want VPC subnet, AWS underscore subnet, whatever way which is sensible to you. Search in everything or directly Google it out. Okay, right. So now whenever I'm trying to look out for it, argument is the input. So there are many inputs over here. Are you seeing availability zone, CADR block, yeah, and VPC underscore ID, and then there is tags. Okay, so now let me go over here, and then let me go to main.tf and rename this file, or why let us rename it later. So my resource is AWS underscore subnet. Sorry. And name of it is app one. CIDR underscore block is equals to, okay. Let me define a variable. Okay. N-tier underscore app one underscore CIDR. Type is equals to string. Default is equals to 192.168.0.0/24. This is my default value. Okay. But over here, I'll try to tell that entire underscore app one underscore CR is equals to 10.100.0.0/. Any problem with this? That is the default value. This is the value which I want to pass. What is my variable name? App one hyphen CIDR. Now let me go over here, and then here we're trying to tell that var dot app one underscore CIDR. Now availability zone. Okay. So availability zone. Availability zone is, okay. Do I have region somewhere? I have region. But after region, I want to add A, and the other one is after region, I want to add B. I want to deal only with two availability zones. So let me try to show you a very simple example. Okay. Don't worry about the programming language over here. I'm trying to tell that region is equals to US West 2. So in Python, it tries to tell that if you want to print US West A, what you can do is you can use something like F, okay, and then you can try to write region and then try to write A. Sorry, is it printing this? Now if I want B, I use this. So in this is the dynamic part. Okay. So when you learned C, you might have written something like %s in your C language. Okay. This, whenever within a string, if you are using a dynamic string and a static string. Okay. So for example, name is equals to Terraform. Now if I want to print hello Terraform, how are you? Okay. Today my name is Terraform. Tomorrow it could be for other user. So I'll be trying to tell that hello name. Name is a variable. Okay. Comma how are you? Right. Tomorrow if I want to do this for other tool, name is equals to Docker. And then if I try to run the same thing, it starts trying to tell him. Sorry, understanding the difference, sir? Yeah. Now availability zone is also the same thing, right? So it is either US, if your region is Mumbai, it is US, sorry, AP South 1A, right? If your region is Oregon, US West 2A, this is the availability zone which I want. I also want to use something like this, right? So technically this is called as string interpolation. What is it? String interpolation. So whenever you are creating a string, by having some dynamic strings inside it, that is called as string interpolation. So now I'll go to this, and then I'll try to tell that how do I do Terraform string interpolation. Okay, right. So this is, if you want to write a string, very simple. Here docs, that is fine. JSON, I'm okay with all of that. Okay. Interpolation, what is it trying to tell? Okay. So shall we try this in Terraform now? Yeah. So we are going to do something different now, sir, which we have not touched so far. Okay. The thing which we are going to try this is, okay. So whenever you want to experiment something with Terraform gives you something called as console. Gives you something called as console. Okay. I have not written my template completely. That is what it is trying to tell. What is it trying to tell? Availability zone. ఇదే కదా దీని బాధ దీని గురించే. let me put a hash over here and Terraform console. Okay. So in this console, you can experiment with Terraform expressions. You can basically play with Terraform expressions. So let me try to write an expression where I'll try to tell that. Okay, how do we do interpolation, sir? Hello dollar var dot name. So I'll try to tell that var dot. Okay, I think it is region. This is a variable which I've created, and then I'll try to write a. Okay, are we getting anything? Is there something which I'm missing still? What is it I've missed here? Are you seeing dollar by any chance there? Write it completely. Copy కొట్టినప్పుడు మొత్తం కొట్టాలి, సగం సగం కొట్టకూడదు. Right? So dollar var dot region. Are you getting this? Now, if I want to get the second region, dollar var dot region B. Do you agree that this is a better idea? Because if I try to directly take US West 2A as an input, every time user has to pass the redundant information. Okay. So for that reason, what I'll try to take is, okay, I'll go over here, inputs, and then I'll try to tell that variable primary availability zone, or let me not call it as primary and second, first availability zone. Okay, type is equals to string, default is equals to A, and then variable, okay, second availability zone, type is equals to string, default is equals to B. Okay, right. Now I'll try to change this expression a little bit. Dollar var dot region, and again dollar var dot first hyphen AZ. Okay, this variable can be declared. What is it I've missed? That is fine. An input variable has not been declared. Okay, first hyphen AZ. Okay, dollar var hyphen var dot region. Okay, and dollar var dot first hyphen AZ. So this will load the values only whatever has been defined, not dynamic loading is not available. That's the reason why I got. But I didn't like this approach. Why should I take A and B from the user? Because it is always A and B. I don't want user to change it. Okay. So what is a variable? Variable is a value which you want user to pass. But in this case, I don't want user to pass the value. That's the reason I'm not taking this approach. Are you clear on this, sir? Yeah. So నేను ఇది చేయొచ్చు, కాకపోతే దీనిలో దరిద్రం ఏంటంటే ఏబిఏ ఉంటుంది ఎప్పుడు. Okay, I want user not to pass this information. So for that reason, what I'll try to do is, one way of dealing with this availability zone is equals to dollar var dot region A. Am I clear on this, sir? Okay. So are we clear on this? Now I have to do this for how many subnets, sir? So copy it 4 times. Again, I'm not trying to tell that it is a good idea. Okay. So let me try to create app1, app2, db1. Okay. db1 db2. Okay. Yes, but I have not created variables. So here also I'll try to copy app to CIDR. Okay, which is 192.168.1.0 and db1 and db2. This is 2.0 and this is okay. Now let me go over here, exit, and then let me try to see Terraform validate. So it says that there is one important ID called as VPC ID which is missing. If you remember, VPC ID was a required field while creating the stuff. Okay. Now VPC ID is already created, right? Already created. One way of solving that is log in into AWS. Get into Oregon region. Go into your VPCs. This is what I've created. Is this the VPC ID? Yeah. Copy this and then you try to tell that VPC underscore ID is equals to this. But do you think it is a good idea? If I do this, the problem is this will work only with my account for that particular VPC. Are we writing Terraform for that? ఇలా చేస్తే ఇది నా VPC ఐడికి మాత్రమే పనిచేస్తుంది. అది కూడా అది బతుకున్నంతసేపు. Okay. So if I do this, it will work only for the span for my VPC ID as long as that is not deleted. So do you think it is a good idea? No. Right. So the other thing is generally there should be some way for me to figure out what the VPC ID is. If you remember, I have said that whenever we create resources, there are two important things. One is you provide inputs, the other one is you get outputs. Inputs are called as arguments and outputs are called as attributes. So we have created VPC. So VPC should have some outputs, right? So shall we look at what are the outputs of VPC? Yeah. So AWS underscore VPC. ఇన్ని ఏడిచినాయా ఆగండి ఇన్ని మనం వెళ్ళంగానే రిసోర్సెస్ స్లాష్ VPC. Okay, so do you got this? Now for the first time I'm going to attributes reference. Till now I have never been here. I'm always looking out for inputs. Okay, so in this, are you seeing there is something called as ID? This ID will give you ID of the VPC. So there is an output argument which is called as ID. Okay, now here there is one thing which you need to understand. Okay, to access outputs, that is attributes of a resource, syntax is resource underscore type dot whatever name which you have given dot whatever output element which you are trying to look out for. Okay, so or let me try to write attribute hyphen name. Okay, so in our case, what is the resource type for the VPC, sir? AWS underscore VPC. What is the name of it? Entire. And what is the attribute which you are looking out for? ID. So what I'll try to write is VPC underscore ID is AWS underscore VPC dot entire dot ID. Does it make sense now? So now this will work for you, this will work for me, this will work for anything that gets created because. So remember a few days ago we said explicit dependency and implicit dependency. This is implicit dependency. Because to fill the attribute of VPC, you are trying to tell that I want the output of VPC. So output of the VPC cannot be achieved until VPC is created. Are we clear on this? So in the last section, when we were creating a resource in Azure, we have written depends on statement. Gutunda? Depends on whatever. So when you are using depends on, you are trying to tell explicitly that this is my dependency. Now when you do this, you are trying to tell that to create this resource, I am depending on output of VPC. So until VPC is created, I will not get output. So this is understood that this is a implicit dependency. So what is this? Okay, but generally it is a good practice, even though it is implicit, to write depends on statement. Okay, we know that it is implicit, but still a good idea. Why? It increases readability. You will come to know that okay, this resource will be created after. Am I clear on this? Either I know some leather. There is no need for you to write depends on statement because Terraform automatically adds depends on statement. But still, it is a good idea to write it. So this becomes explicit dependency depends on. Are we clear on this? Yes. Still, what I've written is not a very wonderful thing, but it would work. Okay. Right. So shall we try this, sir? Terraform. First thing, FMT. We have already done init. So it says I have done this for the following files. Okay. Terraform. Apply. Right. Let us see what it is trying to tell. I'll be creating. Okay. Enter. Why is enter created? Okay. No. If you remember, I have not passed the inputs. Hyphen var hyphen file. And what is it? Values dot tfvars. Okay. So then it is trying to tell that why? What is the reason? ఏదో తేడా ఉంది. Why is it trying to create a VPC? Okay, I'm not sure how I managed the state of this. Okay, this was manual, man. This was not created from Terraform. Is Terraform not create చేయలేం మనం? Okay, okay. Then it's okay. I was thinking that from Terraform we have created something. Okay, let me delete this. Okay, now let me tell that I am okay with you doing this work. So you look at the order of creation. First VPC is creating. Then it will try to create DB1, DB2, DB app1 and app2. Okay. Okay. So what is it trying to tell? Okay. 2.0, 3.0 is invalid. Yeah, good. That means that we have not given. ఇక్కడ ఇవ్వకపోతే ఏం తీసుకుంటుంది అది? It is taking default values, right? So over here I have to write app2 underscore CADRS 1.0, db1 underscore CADRS 2.0, and db2 underscore CADRS. Since I have not filled these values, it has taken the default. Okay, right. Malli Terraform FMT. సిగ్గే ఉంది మళ్ళీ కొడతామే. See, when you are creating, if you are getting errors, మీ అదృష్టం బాలేకో ఇలా జ్యోతిషుడి దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. ఎర్రర్లు ఎక్కడ వస్తేనే సుఖం, జీతం తీసుకున్నప్పుడు వస్తే బాధ. ఓకే, సో ఇస్ ఇట్ డన్, సార్? యా, గుడ్. Now let us try to basically refresh this. I've created entire, and then I got 4 subnets based on VPC. I'm not sure what is my ID, 3DE. Yeah, right. But there is something which you have missed. Tags are not there. It is looking ugly. So shall we? Let me also add that. Okay. So let me go over here in main, and then if you remember, we have written tags name equals to enter. సిగ్గు లేకుండా దీన్నే కాపీ చేసేసి ఇక్కడ దీన్ని app1. This becomes app2. This becomes db1, and this becomes db2. Let me do that again. This time I am not creating, I am updating. If you try to remember, I am just making changes in my template. Let us see what it will try to tell. It is trying to tell that resource db2 will be updated. Right now the tags are empty, so this will be added. Okay, the same thing will happen to all the other things. So let me click on yes. Okay, sir. Let me go over here, refresh this. Did we got this? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right. Sir. Now let me write something. Okay, sir. So let me go over here. Added changes to create subnets. Okay. Refer here for the changes done. Okay, sir. To be very honest, I didn't like this approach. Okay. Right. Let me try to tell you why. I want to print 4 numbers. So I try to write print 1, print 2, print 3, print 4. Will it work? Will it work or not? పనిచేస్తుంది కదా ఇది? Yeah. So print could be echo in your Linux machine. Print could be whatever it is. Now I want to print 100 numbers. So again, print 5, 6, 7, write 100 numbers. Print 1000, try to write print statement 1000 times. Do you think it is a good idea? No. So is that better, or me trying to tell that don't worry about the stuff? Okay. For index in 1 to 100, print index. What do you think is a better way? This is a better way, right? అవునా ఇది బెటరేనా? మనం ఇక్కడ చేసింది ఏంటి? Print 1, print 2, print 3, print 4. In the same way we have written app1, app2, db1, db2. Nonsense. I don't want that. Okay. Let us try to replace this. To replace this, generally we need to write something which is called as loop. Okay. Let us try to figure out how HashiCorp configuration language for Terraform helps us in writing loops. Okay. Right. So now let me go with Terraform loops. I don't want all of this. Yeah. Right. Fine, sir. So are you saying there are different things over here? Yeah. Right. So this is one way of basically doing it. Okay. There is one more thing which is called as Terraform. Remember, we have used depends argument. In the same way, there is one interesting argument which is called as count. So in the resource, if I put count, it will create 4 items. Okay. So yesterday someone was asking if I have to create 3 VPCs, what should I write it 3 times? No, don't write it. Just use count. Okay. Now you might know this, right? For okay, int I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. ఇలాంటిది ఏదో చేసి ఉంటారు కదా C language లోని. Yeah, C or Java, whatever it is. Yeah, and then printf I. Yes. Yeah. In Terraform also you can do the same thing. But over here, this 5 is defined by something which we call as count. Okay. Right. So now, rather than writing all of this nonsense, first let me destroy all of that. అసలు ఈ చెత్త నాకు నచ్చల. Terraform destroy. Let us try to make it write it in an effective way. Okay, sir. It will destroy. Now, let me basically use count. So how many do I want now? 4. So let me try to write count is equals to 4. It should create 4 subnets. So let me change the name of this to be subnets. Okay. I'll still keep the other things for our reference. Then I'll remove all the other 3. Okay. Now to create people on the web, am I audible, sir? Interesting on the చిరాకు తప్పుతుందా? 2 కేసుల్లోని సైలెంట్ గానే ఉంటాం. Right? Fine, sir. So to create multiple resources, refer here. Okay. Now over here, remember in this loop, okay, to printf I want to access I, which will tell me the count. So over here, you would be using something called as count dot index. You'd be trying to tell count dot index. So when it is creating the first resource, the count dot index will be 0. Second resource, it will be 1. Third resource, it would be 3. Fourth resource, third resource, it would be 2. Fourth resource, it would be, so it would be n minus 1. If you want to create 4, index will start from 0 to 3. If you want to create 100, 0 to 99. That is how it works. Okay, right. Now let me go over here, and then if you try to see what were my inputs, entire, and right now I'll be trying to create, do I have one subnet CADR or multiple subnet CADRs? Multiple subnet CADRs. So entire subnet CADRs. So I'll give type is equals to list of string. Default value is 192.168.0.0/24. I have to give 4 CADRs now. Okay. So this will become 3. This will become 2. This will become 1. Do you agree with me on this? And ఈ చెత్త అంతా నాకు అవసరం లేదు ఇంకా. Right. Okay. Right. Now what I'll try to do is I'll go over here and then subnets. Okay. And then rather than using var.app CADR. So what is it? I have 4 subnets to worry about. So var dot మనం ఇప్పుడే క్రియేట్ చేసాం కదా దాని పేరు ఏంటి, ఎంటైర్ సబ్నెట్ CADRs. Okay, off. When I am doing it for the first time, I should get first subnet CADR 192.168.0.0/100. Second time 1.0. So here I'll be using count dot index. Am I clear on this? Since it is array, so if it is an array, to access the first item, you would be using off 0. Second item off 1. So anyway, we have a variable over here which tries to tell about that. Okay. Now availability zone. Okay. So what are availability zone values? Variable. Okay. Entire subnet is default is equals to list of string. Okay, sorry, not default. This is type. Don't forget to write description. I'm not trying to write that because it might take little bit of more time. అంతకుమించి వేరే లాజిక్ ఏమి లేదు నేను డిస్క్రిప్షన్ రాయకపోవడానికి. సో డిఫాల్ట్ వాల్యూ విల్ బి ఫస్ట్ సబ్నెట్ ఏ availability zone A, second subnet availability zone B, third subnet availability zone A, fourth subnet availability zone B. Okay, now let me go over here, and rather than trying to write this dollar var dot entire subnet is of count dot index. Any problem with this? So I'm replacing all of that with one statement. Okay, for now let us try to remove tags for some time. I'll bring the tags also later. Okay, and that's it. We are done. Now let me go to values.tfrs. నాకు ఇదంతా ఏం అవసరం లేదు. All I need to do is, okay, where are inputs? Entire subnet CADRs is equals to array of (24). Okay, so this will become 3.0, 2.0, 1.0. Okay, so generally whenever you are using these kind of things, always evaluate. So first thing is Terraform validate, or before validate format. Whenever you make changes, let us try to format, and then Terraform validate. Okay, it says it is fine. Now let me try to tell Terraform apply -var -file is values.tfrs. Okay, so it says that it is VPC 10.100.0.0/16. So US West 2B subnet 3. What is that? 3.0, 2A 2.0, 1.0, and 0.0. Okay, so is it creating 4 subnets? And then let me try to type yes. Okay, right, sir? Okay, now let me go to AWS. Okay, and let me refresh. Okay, filter by VPC. So I'm seeing 4 things. Yeah, so we have not created names, right? I'll fix that problem, but before that I want to fix one more. Okay, right. So Now name we can easily fix it, sir. First let me fix the name also. Name చేసేద్దాం so that ఆదరిద్రం ఎందుకు ఏముందంటే పెద్ద సిగ్గే ఉంది ఇదిగో ఇదే మళ్ళీ కాపీ దిస్ ఎంటైర్ సబ్నెట్ నేమ్స్ app1 app2 db1 db2, right? And then go to main.tf and then try to write tags equals to name equals to var dot, what is the name which we have given? Entire subnet names of count dot index. Okay, right. So let me basically go over here and let me try to do apply again. This variable I am not passing because I don't want to change the values. I'm okay with whatever names which they have. Now let me go over here and refresh. Okay, so is this looking better than what we have done for the first time? Yes, but this is also not done. There are still many improvements in this. I am not saying this is a good version. This is still ugly version for me. Yeah, right, fine. But this is my first level of improvement. Okay, so rather than writing the same thing multiple times, we have tried to use some kind of looping constructs, right? Okay, sir. So let's apply, okay, the count for subnet creation. Okay, get commit -am first level improvements. Okay, refer here for changes. Okay, sir. Now the first thing which I'm trying to do is, what is my first subnet range, sir? So if my range is 10.0.0.0/16, my first subnet generally will be 10.0.0.0/24. Second will be 1.0. Third one will be 2.0. Fourth one will be 3.0. Are you seeing this third digit? Is it not count dot index? Whenever you are trying to create the loop of 4 subnets, what will be the count dot index for the first subnet? 0. Second subnet? 1. Third subnet? Fourth subnet? So then why am I giving those as input? Okay, so that is my problem. అర్థమైందని చెప్పింది. So for example, if I have given the range of it as 192.168, even in that case the first 2 digits will change, but rest of it is always 0.1.2. Or whatever it is. Did you got that, sir? The third one remains the same. Okay, now what Terraform has is, okay, first let's try to do these things in a simpler way. So let's start using Terraform functions to make further improvements. Okay, so right now how many subnets am I creating, sir? 4. Why 4? Why not 6? If the user wants to create 6 subnets, will my template work? No, it will always create 4. I want to change that. So what I'll try to tell to the user is, if you want me to create 6 subnets, okay, pass 6 values over here. In the subnet CIDRs, right now, how many values did I pass? If you want me to create 6, pass 6 values. Pass 6 values. Does it make sense? Yes, right? So now, if I find out what is the length of this, if I find out what is the length of the array, I have to create those many subnets. Do you agree with me on this? Yes. But how can Terraform find out what is length? So that is what we are getting into. So there is something called as Terraform functions. Using Terraform functions. We'll continue this discussion, but let me make the first change at least. So in this functions, there are different functions available over here. So if you try to look into Terraform functions, okay. So right now we are speaking about list, right? Yeah. So are you saying collection functions? In collection functions, where is it? Are you seeing something called as length? So length of array will give you 0. Whatever length will give you. Okay. So now let me try to do Terraform console. Okay. So what is the variable name in which we have the subnet CIDRs, right? So now length of var dot subnet CIDRs. What is that you are getting? 4, right? So then what is the need for me to write this? Length of var dot. So now if you want me to create 6 subnets, give 6 items in that list. Did I add that dynamic need? If I want to create 2 subnets, just pass 2 values. I'll be creating subnets according to the number of items which you pass in the CIDR ranges. Does it make sense, sir? Yes? Okay. We will be dynamically calculating the stuff also, right? But for now, since looking at the time, we don't have much of time. Okay. So let's replace static count of 4 with length function. Okay. The length function which I've used is this. Okay. So exit used. Okay, sir. Refer here for change. Okay. Now let me try to execute Terraform apply. My apply should not basically change anything because that is exactly what I have. Okay. Now if I can create 4 subnets, can't I create 4 virtual machines? Once I know how to write a resource. Yes. Right, sir? Sounds interesting. So for the people for whom loop is a little bit confusing, that's the reason I've given chain sets. Okay. So if you look into today's classroom stuff, okay, initially, okay, let me go with, okay, parent of this. Okay, initially we have created 4 by giving 4 values. This was simple. Writing this is easy because we have created 4 subnets. Then what I've done is I didn't like this idea, so I've gone with combining all of them into one thing. So that is where I've tried to create a array or a list and replaced whatever I've written as 4 subnets into one subnets. Over here, one interesting thing is variable is count dot index. Okay, you give list as an input and pass count dot index into it. Are we clear on this, sir? So do we understand Terraform functions now? There are a lot of functions we'll be using. There is something called as function which I've used, and then there is something called as count which I've used. And today in the discussion we have spoken about the second kind of dependency, which was implicit dependency. So where we have used the output of one resource as an input to the other, that was attributes. Okay, so conceptually that is what we have covered. But Terraform FMT, oh, good. Don't forget this. This is becoming mandatory now. Every organization is mandating that you should lint Terraform, right? So when you do this, then whether whoever writes the script, it looks the same. So are you saying all the equals will be generally aligned? Okay, and Terraform will basically try to copy all of this in a way which it likes, okay, or which it wants to be. Clear, sir? Yes. Interesting on the లేకపోయినా తప్పదు, right? Even if it is not interesting, you don't have much of choice, because without Terraform and Kubernetes, there are no DevOps and cloud jobs. Yeah, right. So tomorrow and day after tomorrow will not have classes, sir. Yeah, I think we have announced this, but just I'm quickly reiterating. Okay, so generally we don't work on Mondays, right? So I thought giving 2 holidays in a stretch is a better idea, because even I have to work on a lot of things. Okay, ఈ 2 రోజులు అయ్యాక టెరాఫామ్ అంతా మర్చిపోతే మళ్ళీ మొదటి నుండి మొదలెట్టుకుందామా? राइट, ये 2 दिन में पूरा टेराफॉर्म भूल के आ जाओगे तो फिर पहले से शुरू करेंगे, राइट? फाइन सर, ओके, राइट. And if possible, right, whatever work which I have done for AWS, apply the same thing for Azure, because in Azure also you have to create subnets. There also you have to pass VNet ID, VNet name, rather than ID there you pass name, and you have to give the same CIDR ranges. If possible, try it. Anyway, in the next class I'll do it. Okay, right. Okay, sir. Sir, for the people who are in the class, okay, one thing which I've seen is not many of you are trying to learn Linux, sir. Okay, sir, if you basically go to directdevos.blog, the blog where we upload the notes every day, you will see a YouTube icon. If you click on this, it would open this, and in this there are playlists. You come down to multiple playlists. There are Linux classroom sessions. Okay, there are 39 sessions over here, sir. Kindly go through that. Okay, and somewhere from around 24 we start shell scripting sessions. Okay, kindly have a look at it. Okay, have a look at each, and I'm not trying to tell that finish all the 39 in one day. Have a plan of 1 month. In the next 1 month, plan so that you finish all of this. Okay, right? So then if you cover this common ground, then if you want me to cover more, then I can do it. లేదంటే ప్రతిసారి ఆవు కథలాగా మొదలెడతాం మళ్ళీ ఆపేస్తాం, రైట్? లెట్ us not do that. Don't do much, just try to listen to one video per one video. I'm quite sure everyone has a time to do that. Okay, if you find it slow, increase the speed, because YouTube has 1.2x 3x, you can increase the speed of your video, right? So try to do that activity. And 18 to 24, or from 24 onwards, whatever scripting which you have discussed is important. Okay, and then one more thing is I have started adding shots, ఎందుకంటే అందరూ రీల్స్ ఏ చూస్తున్నట్టున్నారు, చదువులు చదవట్లేదు కదా. సో ఎనీ షార్ట్ టాపిక్స్ ఆఫ్ DevOps I'll be adding. 2 రోజులు నాకు పని లేదు కదా, so 2 days are holidays and I'm not going to farm because there it is raining there. So you will see more shorts where you will have description. Shorts అంటే మళ్ళీ ఇది కాదు, ఇలా పనికొచ్చే ఉంటాయి, right? So I just wanted to try whether I will be able to create it or not, but I have done that. Okay, so here you will be seeing certain content. Okay, and then there are certain topics which, or I mean certain definitions which I want you to which I'll be adding over here. Just have a look at it. Okay, right? So for you to get notified, if possible, subscribe, right? Okay, most of you might or some of you are subscribed, I know that, but try to subscribe so that I'll be doing some shorts and you will get notification. అదే మీరు వంటలో గట్టా చూస్తుంటే వెంటనే రాదేమో, right? So but still I'll try to post on community also, or make it premier, so that at least you'll come to know that when I upload the shot. Okay, right sir, thank you.